Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Joe with Jonose Cigars, back to give you another Humidor tour. I did one this time last year in 2018. My inventory has definitely changed a little bit since the last time I gave you a Humidor tour, so here comes Humidor Tour Part 2. So the 2019 version. Let's go ahead and get started, show you what I've got on the shelves right now. So same as last year, I have the same cabinet that I had last year. Still love this guy, performs really well. Holds a decent amount of cigars. Enough that I feel like I actually have a good stock in there aging, and not so much where I feel like a complete degenerate spending half of my salary on tobacco. So we have that guy still, and it's gotten a little fuller than from last year. I also added a new desktop humidor. I actually featured this guy in the video on how to season a new humidor, and like I said in that video, I use this thing to keep the more expensive special occasion smokes in that guy kind of separate from these in this cabinet over here. More on that a little bit later. I also have this sort of giveaway humidor that I have kind of the cheaper, not so expensive cigars in this guy. So we have kind of these random weird names like the Luscious Lion. You ever heard of that one? Yeah, probably not. I have of these Oliva Saisons, which I actually like these a lot. I actually use them when I'm mowing the lawn or doing yard work in the summertime. I'll light one of those up. I have some Bolivar Cofradias, some Baccarats, some La Perla Black Pearls. I actually did a review on this guy before with Mr. Stevens last summer. Some Gurkha Triple Ligueros that I've had from, gosh, it seems like 3 years now. I don't know, it's been in here for a while. I give these away to people who are not super into cigars, but I don't feel bad giving them these little sticks that didn't cost me all that much money, and know that they'll probably still get a decent cigar, but one that if they put out halfway through because they don't like it, I'm not going to feel too bad about it. So we have that guy. I also have this other desktop humidor. This is actually the first humidor I was ever given by my brother as a best man gift a long time ago. And this is where I just keep pipe tobacco in this guy. Definitely don't be putting cigars in the same humidor as pipe tobacco. It will all just smell and taste like pipe tobacco, and that is not what you want. So just pipe tobacco in this guy, and then just freebies in this guy. Let's get on to the stuff that I actually smoke on a regular basis. Okay, so no particular order as far as what I have in the shelves. Really, it's just whatever I can do to get them to fit. I've got a bunch of these CAO Flathead 660s. Really do like these as a regular smoke. If I've got the time to do a 6x60 re-engaged cigar, I always find these to be very enjoyable. So I've got a bunch of those. I've got a few of these Fuente Maduros, Gran Reserva, and Churchill. Really do like these guys. These are just a really satisfying cigar. I love the flavors that the Maduro wrapper impart, and Fuente is just as good at imparting flavor as anybody else out there. See, we also have a bunch of these Ave Maria Argentums. I really like this cigar. I'm going to have to feature AJ Fernandez at some point this year, because I just feel like it's an overlooked brand. Not a lot of people carry them. I think you only can get them online. But AJ Fernandez makes a number of boutique lines like Diesel and Man of War and Ave Maria. Ave Maria is just a solid line. So I've got a bunch of these Argentums, sort of, they call these Morning Stars, which are just kind of a 4-inch Perfecto. Really neat smoke. Also have a few of these Divinias by AJ Fernandez. Man, the artwork on these things is just beautiful. Just beautiful artwork. So yeah, more Argentums. And then we have the San Lotano in Maduro. Just smoked these for the first time this past month or so. Really good, really solid Maduro. Nice full-bodied leather and sweet chocolate. Another Divinia here. And then some more by AJ Fernandez. We got the Bellas Artes. A great, elegant, medium-bodied smoke. Check out those if you ever get a chance. We've got one Enclave by AJ Fernandez. I'm a big AJ Fernandez guy, if you haven't noticed. So besides the Bellas Artes and the Enclave, hey look, more Ave Marias. This is just the standard Ave Maria stick. Very solid, medium-bodied Habano wrap cigar. This is this is becoming one of my new favorite mild cigars. This is the Ave Maria Immaculata. Really, really smooth, nice, creamy texture, great morning coffee cigar. Most Saturday mornings where I have the opportunity to have it with morning coffee when I first get up, this is definitely, I mean, this rivals the White Series in my opinion. I just think it's that good. And then, of course, we do have a few New Worlds left. Love the New World by A.G. Fernandez. Really good, especially for what you pay for this. I mean, I don't think I've seen them higher than like $7 or $8 retail, and this is a big stick. This will give you an hour and a half smoking time minimum, unless you're just chugging away on it, which I do not recommend. So yeah, I think that is the extent of my A.G. Fernandez stuff. I still have a few of these Punch Rare Corojos, 10th anniversary. This is different from the original Rare Corojo. This has got a different blend, and it's got some different spice notes to it. Some nutmeg and baking spice, cinnamon, sugar, that sort of stuff going on. The original Rare Corojo didn't quite have all that stuff. The Rare Corojo was really a pretty strong, potent cigar. This one's not as much. This is a little milder, but really tasty, very intricate flavors. Check them out if you get a chance. They smoke really well too. Of course, I have a few of these nice, big, beefy Punch signatures. They've kind of become a relative mainstay in my humidor just because they're such a great value cigar. They look badass just because of the size, and boy, they taste beefy. They're just really, really good. That leather starts to taste like jerky after a while, and I really enjoyed that. Did a review on this guy earlier this past year. Check that one out. Any cigar that I feature in here that I've done a review on, I'll make sure I put a link in the video below, or in the description below. This is one that I figured out I really liked this past year, the Joya de Nicaragua Antaño, the Grand Consul size. Very, very inexpensive, but incredibly solid cigar. Really good smoke time. Don't let the size deceive you. These just, you'll get so much smoke time out of this one. It's amazing. And the flavors are just phenomenal. The only drawback with these is every now and then I get a plug draw. I've done about 10 of these, and 2 of them have had plug draws. Not terrible rate, I guess, but can't complain too much for what I paid for these guys. Really, really inexpensive. So yeah, that's shelf number 1. Let's go ahead and see what I've got on the shelves below. Okay, so on to shelf number 2. Some of these might be repeats, but certain cigars that I've had in the last humidor tour are going to stick around because they warrant a place in my humidor. So first and foremost, you gotta show the Montecristo White Series. I mean, a really good, solid cigar, kind of a perennial cigar in my humidor and elsewhere. You can find them just about anywhere. They're extremely popular. They're great cigars. Great morning time cigar or evening time. This is a great anytime cigar, and I keep going back to them because they're so consistently good in both flavor and performance. So Montecristo White, probably always going to be in my humidor. Huh, look. How'd that get in here? That's supposed to be on the other shelf. Alright, sticking with some of my A.G. Fernandez. So one of the other boutique lines that A.G. Fernandez does is Diesel, and this is the Whiskey Row, which is the cigar that they finish in the bourbon barrels, the rabbit hole bourbon barrels. Really, really good. I've had a bunch of these sort of like the gimmicky bourbon barrel cigars where they put the cigars in the barrel. And I've had like the Maker's Mark whiskey cigars. Hated that one. That was just so artificially flavored, it was ridiculous. And I've had the Camacho barrel aged ones, and that was fine. I wasn't super crazy about it. I felt like the barrel finishing kind of gave kind of a funky flavor to it. Like it was trying to be bourbon, but I wasn't really sure what it really tasted like. It was just kind of funky. Whereas this one, really a nice, subtle bourbon flavor. And smoked really well, really good smoke time, performed great. And the flavors were just really interesting. I kept finding myself wanting to puff on it a lot because it just gave all these very interesting, nuanced flavors that I thought they did a very good job. So kudos, A.G. Fernandez, another endeavor. Turned out very well for you. So yeah, check out Whiskey Row Diesel. Of course, I got the Montecristo Classic Churchills. I love these. These are wonderful. Not terribly expensive. They are just an enormous cigar, and they smoke great. Great flavor. Always come back to these. Always keep them in my humidor. One that I haven't had before until this past year was the Aroma de Cuba. Oop, not that guy. Just these guys. These are a really nice medium full stick. I just love the label on these. Very beautiful. I got these always confused with La Gloria Cubana because of the name, very similar to La Aroma de Cuba. Mr. Stevens really loved the Aroma de Cuba El Jefe. This is the Mi Amor. I actually like this one a little better than the El Jefe. Moving on, I've got a few by Caldwell. I got a few of the Long Live the Kings. Did a review on this guy earlier this year. These have been aging for a while. I did the review back this past summer, I guess it was, and I mean, I thought they were fine, but I feel like they might actually do better with some age, so I'm letting these sit for a while. Hopefully they'll do a little better. And we've got the Roma Crafts, and we've got a few Roma Crafts in here. This is the Intemperance. This is probably my least favorite of the Roma Craft line. Don't ask me why I have them in here. I think it's because I was interested in just all things Roma Craft, and I bought a 5-pack. Or no, I bought a 10-pack, and I still have about 4 left. They're fine. I just was expecting more from Roma Craft, but if you want a good Roma Craft cigar, go no further than the Cro-Magnon Aquitaine, which is what this guy is. Really intense. Wonderful, intricate flavors, super full-bodied, wonderful smoke time, really good performer. You won't be disappointed by that. One of the best sort of, what's the word, boutique cigars out there. I have one left of the Avo Syncro Fogata. This is the Avo Syncro Nicaragua Fogata. This should actually be in a separate part of the humidor. Kind of got misplaced somehow in there. Forget that. Got a few of the Oliva Serie G Churchills here. Really nice, very sweet cocoa, coffee sort of flavors. Really interesting box press here. That's almost like a complete square. I almost reviewed these instead of the Series O during Oliva month this past year, but I ended up doing the Serie O. Which I only have one left. I'm going to have to get some more of the Serie O. They're just so good. Really love those guys. Got a few Rocky Patel selections in here. Of course, I've got the Sun-Grown Maduro, which I think will probably always be a mainstay. They're really solid smoke. I think it's one of Rocky Patel's better blends that he's put out there. And yeah, I think it's, especially for the price you pay, it's a really, really good selection to have in your humidor. And then I have the original Sun-Grown by Rocky Patel. And this is just a really nice fireside smoke. I had one this past summer on vacation by a campfire by a lake, and this is the best I've enjoyed a Rocky Patel, I think, in almost in my entire life. I just really, really enjoyed that cigar. I don't know if it was all just the cigar, but the atmosphere or whatever. I just really enjoyed myself. And then we have the Rocky Patel Vintage 1990s. I'm not super crazy about these until they start aging. And after they've aged for about a year, they are like a completely different cigar. You can see on the cellophane's already got a nice yellow tinge to this. So these will be ready. These are basically ready to smoke. And they'll be much better than when you get them fresh. So these are fine and dandy when they're young, but I just think they're a completely different level of cigar once you've aged them for a year or so. So that is shelf number 2. Let's see what we got on the bottom shelf. Alright, so bottom shelf. Got a couple of the Drew Estate Undercrowns. Got one of the EP Carrillo Oscuro. This is the EP Carrillo Elite Oscuro. If you haven't tried EP Carrillo, man, what have you been doing? Great brand. Kind of overlooked in my opinion, but it's definitely one worth checking out. Got a bunch of the Drew Estate Norteños. Really love these guys. Boy, they've been running just an incredible special on these little Bellicioso Finos that they've been having. I think I bought a box for 30 bucks. That was insane. Great price. Yeah, so moving those out of the way. Love Aging Room. And Mr. Stevens and I got a bunch of aging rooms in the deal that they were running online. Got several sizes. I got the little Robusto, got the little Bellicoso, and then of course we got these long Quattros, the F55 Quattro, long ones. Really like those. And also they have one in Maduro. And I got a bunch of those too. Every last one of them are great. I don't know if you can see it too well, but this one's just got a ton of tooth on the wrapper, and it's just lovely. I love this guy. Never fails. Got a few of the Bankers. Did a review of those in the first year that I did the channel. Pretty decent cigar. A little on the expensive side, but you know, Not too bad. Here's one I think is still to this day not smoked as often as I would imagine it should be, because it's really, really phenomenal, and that's the Alec Bradley Tempest. This is the natural. I do still have a couple of the Maduro in what the size they call the Quadrum. The Tempest in Maduro tends to be box pressed. These natural ones are not box pressed. Interesting. I have one Sanctum left. Oh no, I have two Sanctums left. Surprise, surprise. And I lit one of these up for the first time in like a year. I hadn't had one in a while, and then when I smoked it, it's unbelievably good. And the ash, I kid you not, the ash was all the way down to about there before it finally fell off. It was an amazing ash, and I wish I had taken a picture. Would have been a nice little post on social media or something. Of course, we have the Prensados. This is another one that I feel like is fine and dandy when you first get it fresh, but it is a different cigar altogether after it ages. So if you get any of these, which are usually not that expensive, #1 cigar of the year once upon a time, they are amazing after they've been in the humidor for a long time. Then from the makers of Ashton and La Aroma de Cuba, we have still some San Cristobal Revelations. A very nice medium-bodied cigar. Lots of really neat wood notes, dry leaves, sort of vegetal and earthy. Beautiful label on that guy. I always love this. This is one of the cigars my wife gave me on one Father's Day that really introduced me into that next level of cigars that I didn't know existed. Thank you, wife. You're always there looking out for me. An undervalued stick. La Gloria Cubana, the Series R Maduros. They are wonderful. I've got numerous sizes of these guys. I got the standard, this is kind of like a Robusto size, and then you got some of these Gordo sized ones here. And then we got this enormous like Presidente size, which I'm really looking forward to. Got a couple of those actually. And then we got 4 more of the Avo Syncro Nicaragua. Love these guys. Was in my top 10 back in 2017. Never fails. Very good cigar. Romeo and Julieta 505 Nicaragua. I tend to like the Nicaraguan tobaccos more in these Romeo and Julietas than the original blends they have. The 1875s and the Real Reserves, they're fine. I just think this is a better cigar altogether. Haven't reviewed this one, I don't think, but I think it might be one of those things that I'll review. I might have a Romeo and Julieta month sometime in 2019. Alright, so that is drawer number 3, or shelf number 3. Let's go to the bottom drawer of this humidor. Alright, so final shelf. This one I keep a couple of Velveeta packs in it because it's just that much more isolated from the rest of the cabinet. It doesn't have any slots. The drawer is kind of a separate thing, so I keep a few Velveeta packs in there to keep it well hydrated. Just have a few oddballs in here, like the Jaime Garcia. I don't have a whole lot of the ones that I do have in here. Got one of the H. Upman by A.J. Fernandez, just because I'm an A.J. Fernandez sucker. Can you blame me? They're all good. Anything A.J. Fernandez touches, in my opinion, seems to be pretty good. Got a couple oddballs Gurkhas in here. Got the Cellar Reserve 18-year. Got a few of the 4 Kicks Robustos. Love 4 Kicks. Loved anything by Crown Heads. A couple more of those Jaime Garcias. Yeah. Some Don Pepin Garcia Original Blues. Much like Crown Heads, anything by my father I tend to like a lot. I've got a random ass Partagas in here. I think this was part of a sampler I got for somebody and just ended up in there. Gurkha Ghost. You know, my buddy over at The Aficionado loves the Gurkha Ghost. I have yet to try it, but I'm going to have to try it since he loves it so much. Got a couple of these oddball Gurkha Centurions. I'm not an enormous Gurkha fan. I don't have the vendetta that a lot of people have with Gurkha. I do have a couple of these. These I didn't buy on purpose. They were kind of like a mystery grab bag, and they came in. I've actually had these a couple times before. They're kind of a powerhouse, super hit, kick you in the face nicotine bomb, but they smoked okay. Sometimes I hit construction problems with them. Still have a couple of the Crown Heads La Carême. Love these guys. Love that dessert cigar. Got here's a brand that I wasn't aware of until Jody at the Hill Cigar Company in my neck of the woods. She just loves this brand. This is the La Galera, And they have a Connecticut, they have a Habano, and I have a Maduro. I got the Connecticut and the Maduro, and they also had this 80th anniversary limited edition stick. I've yet to try any of these, but I have to try it at some point. I will get to it at some point. This is a neat one. This is by Foundation Cigars. This is the Charter Oak. This is the same people that make the Tabernacle and a few other things. Can't remember all the rest of the ones that they do. There's so many. But the Charter Oak and Maduro. I also got this with the Charter Oak Connecticut, which I smoked earlier this year. Really liked it. Solid cigar. Really inexpensive, like $5 or less. That was kind of the draw there. A10 Barber Pole. Rocky Patel. Nice smoke. Oh yeah, the Undercrown. I think I already mentioned that. Kind of a mainstay in my humidor. Jericho Hill by Crown Heads. Really good chocolatey, full-bodied smoke. Love those guys. Suffice to say, I love the La Imperiosa. Incredible stick. Made the top 10 this past year. On the Jonose list, that is. I have the H. Upman Vintage Cameroon. Haven't tried that one yet. Besides the Banker, I haven't smoked a lot by H. Upman. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of the My Father Flor de las Antillas Box Press Toro. These are just a super phenomenally good cigar. They're just amazing. How good they are for what the price they charge. This less than $8 a stick. These could easily go for 12. I don't know why they're so inexpensive. I'm just glad that they are. If Don Pepin Garcia is watching, please don't raise prices. Just keep them the way they are so I can keep putting as many as I do in the humidor. Got a couple other ones in here. This is actually still from the original. This is still the last one of the original cigars I smoked for the channel, the Gran Habano Vintage 2002. I just keep it for sentimental purposes. I don't know if I'll ever smoke this or not. But it was the first cigar I ever smoked on the channel, and I still have one from the original shipment that I had, so has some sentimental attachment to me, so I'll probably hold on to it for at least a while longer. And then I have the Tatuaje Reserva, the Avion. This is a great cigar. Really love this one. Check out Tatuaje, man. They make some good stuff. It's a nice brand. And then, of course, for EP Carrillo month, I have a bunch of the EP Carrillo Encores. Very, very good, powerful, full-bodied, intricate, amazing layers of flavor. Try one of these. This is one of the other cigars that my wife gave me for Father's Day once upon a time that introduced me into the super premium, well, at least the upper echelons of premium cigars. So that's the bottom drawer. Let's get all these guys put back, and I'll show you what I got in my special occasions box. Alright, so this is the sort of special occasion smoke box that I keep. Keep really just any cigar that I love and is really kind of expensive. So more than $12 a stick I'll put in here. So keep them hydrated with a bunch of Bovita Fet packs. Got a bunch by My Father, some La Opulencia, a really amazing stick. #2 cigar this past year by Cigar Aficionado. And then of course the Le Bijou 1922. Wow, what a great cigar with just really amazing flavors of fruit and jam and caramel. Just love them. So I got a bunch of those, at least 3 or 4. And then I've got, put those out of the way. I've got some of the Montes. Montecristo. Really good cigars. Dad actually gave me these for Christmas a couple years ago, so I'm hoping they are aged nicely, so they'll make for a good smoking experience. Got a couple of the Cuban #2 Montecristos. You know, it's really kind of funny because I know a lot of people swear by Cubans, and these were fine. I don't think they were $20 fine. They were okay, not to my palate, I guess. A lot of people love these Cuban cigars, and I guess that they were fine. They tasted just fine. They performed decently. I had a couple of relights on these, interestingly enough. I was kind of expecting better for what I paid for them. This is one that I haven't had yet, but they were kind of expensive. This was the Montecristo Espada. Maybe I'll do a Montecristo month in 2019. Definitely have enough of them in here. I could do another series of reviews on the Montecristo line. Be interested to see what those are like. Got these wonderful Oliva Master Blend 3s. Really great cigars. You know my thoughts on those. Click the link below for the review on that guy. Manowar Armada. Manowar is, of course, another boutique line. AJ Fernandez. Really neat, full-bodied cigar. Got a couple of those left. Move these out of the way. Got a sampler once upon a time of some Ashtons, some oddball Ashtons. Let's see, where are the rest of them? Oh, they're in here somewhere. Well, have the Ashton Heritage and Churchill. Great smoke. Anything by Ashton I'm going to like typically. I know I've got more Ashtons in here than that. I'll come across them. La Flor Dominicana, the Airbenders. This really cool size that they do. La Flor Dominicana does a little chisel. I really like that. I love the way you can just kind of pop it open with your teeth and it's ready to smoke. You get a totally different smoking experience if you use a punch like on the bottom and the top of the little end here. Some people chop it. You can do a lot of things, but it'll be a different smoking experience depending on which way you do. It's kind of fun to experiment with those guys. Dunbarton. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust makes a lot of really good smokes. My favorite is the Sobremesa. They're featured in my top 10, of course. Oh, there's the other Ashtons. I'll get to those in a second. Kind of expensive though. About $13, $14 a stick. Got a little bit of a discount because I bought them in a 5-pack, but they tend to be on the expensive side. Other Ashtons I have, just the regular, you know, 898 handmade. Decent cigar. Expensive. Probably wouldn't have bought it by itself except it was in a sampler. You have the wonderful ESG, Estate Sungrown. Really, really good cigar. I think it's worth the 20 bucks you typically pay for those. Ah, yeah, here's the other Foundation. There's the Tabernacle by Foundation Cigars. I have yet to try this one. Looking forward to it. I'm always interested in these newer cigar brands to see how they hold up. I always love when a new cigar brand comes to the market like Caldwell and Foundation, Dunbarton. I love it when they have new brands emerging. It's always exciting. I think this is the only Cohiba Red Dot I have left, in Nicaraguan. Really neat. Did a review of this one. Well, it's been a while now, but good full-bodied smoke. Got a couple of these Camacho pre-embargo sticks. These were a little expensive. I got them for about 10 bucks each, but they retail for about $20. Not sure why. They're only okay. But I put them in here because we'll see how they do after they've aged for a while. Don't know if it'll make any difference or not, but I'm hoping they do because I was underwhelmed by these when I first smoked it. Another, the Ashton Symmetry, one of my favorite Ashtons. Really good cigar. Love the flavor that one imparts. Of course, we have a bunch of the Oliva Series V Melanios. I've got some in this torpedo size, and some in like the double Robusto size, or the double Toro size, I guess they call it. It's kind of a Gordo. It's a box press Gordo. Both are great. I love them both. Fantastic smokes. Once upon a time last year I bought, which I think was probably one of the best cigar purchases that I ever made. It was one of these samplers, the Padron Anniversary Family Samplers, where you just got so many great smokes. You got a bunch of the 1964, 1926 series, and let's see, do I have any of the 26? I think I smoked most of the 26s. I think that's the last 26 I got, but I got one of the 64, the Pyramid in Maduro. That's going to be really good. It's been aging for almost a year now. And then the number 90 was featured in my top 10. Love this one. Had them a number of times and they're always just phenomenal. Put all those guys back. Still have a few, well, more than a few, of the Ave Maria Reconquista. Probably the best Ave Maria out there. Followed very closely by the Argentin. Really good cigar, especially after aging. These have been here for almost a year now. And I haven't smoked one that's been in here older than like 8 months. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well. Still have some Liga Privadas in here. Love the Liga Privada number 9. Just a great cigar. One of the best I've ever smoked in my life. The T52, I've only smoked these once upon a time, and I can't really remember what my thoughts were of that, so I'm going to smoke this one another time and see what I think. Sometime soon I'm going to have to do a Davidoff month. I was getting ready to do a Davidoff month when I did the poll, So I got a few Davidoffs. I got the Davidoff Winston Churchill, the Yamasa, and of course the Millennium series. So hopefully these will be reviewed sometime in the next month or so when I do a Davidoff month, God willing. And of course later this month I'm going to have to feature this guy, Cigar of the Year, past year, EP Carrillo Encore. Really looking forward to it. Never had it before. Really hoping it's going to be as good as the hype has been suggesting. So that's my stash. Looking forward to smoking a lot of those. And hopefully you'll be joining me often as I do more reviews. Until next time, everybody, smoke a good one.